I'm just going to let you guess, by the huskiness of my voice, what day of Spiel we are about to enter. This is going to be probably the busiest day, not for us in terms of doing the interviews, but in terms of the amount of people coming to the trade show. So this is going to be a very interesting one, but we're going to prolong to bring you another installment of GMS Magazine at Spiel 2012. Contrary to popular belief, I am the only human being on Earth who's not saying Spartacus. That doesn't mean that I'm going to miss on Spartacus the board game. And with me, I have the pleasure of having Mr. John, head honcho of everything cool about Spartacus board game and the company that produces it. We're going to have a quick chat. Tell us, Spartacus, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun working on our first board game. It's an endeavor we've been looking at for the last few years, and we've been trying to choose the right property to blend the mechanics and the things that Gale Force 9 were able to produce in advance with a property that we really liked. When the guys at Stars came along, who they'd not done licensed product before, and we said to them, we really love your show, we're into miniatures, we're into games, it's fighting, it's blood, it's sex, we can do all of this for you. And luckily the guy over there said, oh, okay, we'll give it a go.
Quick question, why did you want to get into the board games? Because you have been extremely successful so far. Why expanding into unknown territory?
Well, part of the thing of having fun and being a company full of hobbyists is we also can't resist the opportunity to do things that are a little bit out of the ordinary. So despite having, a miniature company that makes a hobby game and you play that and then you make a few other things and you say, oh, we'd like to try some other stuff. And board games are something that we've always wanted to have a go at. We just didn't know when the moment was right. And when Spartacus came along, we were like, yep, this is going to work. And off we went.
What has the relationship with the production company been like? Because, Spartacus is a very, I know that I didn't get into it at the time, and I'm the only one, but I know it's a very, very much loved franchise, a very much loved license, and people really like the series. So I can imagine that they wanted to make sure that you guys were going to do a good job. What was the process like?
Well, we have the agent, Stars actually don't do their own licensing because they didn't have experience at this before, and so they have an agent company that helps them. And the guy that we deal with, a guy called Jay, absolutely is into gaming and all the stuff. So he takes care of the geek side of the relationship, and then all the legal and the bits and pieces. And as we started working with them, it was evident that once we showed them we really do understand and love your show, they were like, oh, okay, so you guys know who these guys are, you showed that you picked the right pieces, you understand how the game works, and that once you overcome that and the owner of the property says we understand you have faith in the material, then it gets much easier. So once the first English sections were approved, the rest became very simple, and we've done German, Spanish very quickly. We've got French, Italian, Russian, Polish due soon too. So it's a full-on process, but lots of fun.
Tell me a little bit about the game. How does it play? What is it all about?
The game is all about stabbing each other in the back.
Sounds good to me.
The show is based around the houses, the ludus, fighting against each other, and the dominance of the houses and the politics between them. And the game follows exactly that same logic. So you represent your house, you are bribing, backstabbing, conniving your way to success, and your goal is to be the #1 house in the city, and so is everybody else, and you're all trying to do it with the same underhand techniques. It's why it plays so much better when you've got 4 guys who know each other. When you have 4 friends who already have that relationship, the whole backstabbing thing, you know, stabbing someone that you've only just met doesn't feel so good, but old friends, it's much more pleasurable. So
it sounds definitely. What are the plans for Gale Force 9? Because I can imagine you're not going to stop on this now that you have a success.
No. The part of being a miniatures company first is that when we made the license for the board game, it wasn't just about the board game. The game's the beginning of a flow of other Spartacus product to come. There will be high quality resin figures for each of the main characters, so you'll be able to get a Crixus, a Spartacus, a Theocles to paint and play in the more traditional way. They can be used for the game too, but because we made the game and you've got the arena, you want the excuse to make the figures. The first expansion will be out in January when War of the Dam, the final season, airs. That will give you 5 and 6 player houses and 4-way combat in the arena, so you're going to be able to fight more bloody battles, blood and more blood. And then as the year goes on, we'll introduce more miniatures, and then probably in July there'll be another expansion which will be about more detailed combat. So we're seeing to expand from the basic game to a larger version of the game to actually going into detailed gladiatorial combat, so that by the time we get to the end of the year, a range of figures, a range of game mechanics that you can fight with the game or without, and a bunch of standalone products. So the Spartacus brand will represent 20 or 30 codes rather than just a single box. So
that sounds like you're going to be really, really busy.
Well, the guys at GF9, part of the last 6 months of work to get to this point, and we're just knocking on the head the expansion now, is that once the ball starts rolling, the rest of the business can kind of take up the marketing slack and the promotion, and we come and show it off. And while we're doing that, they're busy working on the next licensed product, which I can't tell you yet, but so that this time next year we're probably here with some slightly different banners, with a different property, with another game, and that will continue. So yeah, it's the beginning of good things. So
sounds good. Also, I was very excited to see that you guys are doing some D&D miniatures. Tell me about that.
Well, at the beginning of the year, we had 3 projects in the group of businesses being worked on. We had Spartacus, which was Gale Force 9. We have an ongoing relationship with Wizards of the Coast the last 4 years for Dungeons & Dragons, gaming accessories, mats, tokens, things to help people roleplay. And we also have been working on the Flames of War big box plastic game. And at the beginning of the year, I said the only thing that must not happen is all of these things come out at the same time. We must try and keep them all separate. And through a series of delays and something being a bit early and something being bang on time, all 3 of them hit this month. So the beginning of the month is Spartacus. Next weekend, the 27th, is Open Fire, and the following week is the first D&D figures out. So I've completely failed to get the entire business behind the concept of not overcomplicating. But no, the D&D is an extension of, again, I think, trust with WotC. We've worked with them over the years. We're passionate. There's a group of passionate D&D players in the business. We've been talking to them about miniatures and the high end, the quality, the kind of figures that you want to see that nobody's ever made. The characters, the god figures, the big monsters, and not the pre-painted mass market stuff, which they've always done very well. It's a good fix. But as a miniature enthusiast, I really want a figure that when I put 40 hours painting into it, it looks like it's worth the 40 hours painting. And we went backwards and forwards with them until eventually they were like, oh, you guys have been asking, and we're ready. And with the help of John Schinderheady and Hillary, who looks after us at WotC, we started to say, well, what could we make? And the longer the list became, the more we realized this is going to go on for more than a few minutes. And we've put together a plan that has 2 to 3 limited sets each month coming out. they're themed by either periods or events that are happening in the D&D world at the moment. So the first 4 months worth of product is Underdark. So everything, all the boxes, the Drow, the Illithids, the Eye Tyrant, the Purple Worm, they're all Underdark. When that hands over January, Feb, it goes into the classic product. That'll be followed up because they're relaunching first edition rules, second edition. There's the A series is being repackaged, the Slave Lords, the Tomb of Horrors, and as each one of those come out, so when the Slave Lord set comes out, there will be a box set of the 5 Slave Lords. When the Tomb of Horrors comes out, you'll get the Lich and some of the characters from the Thing. So we're trying to link the two things together, because as nice as it is to make just cool figures when you feel like it, the enthusiasm for I remember that figure, I remember that module, and linking the two together. So yeah, it's good.
That's really, really exciting. Really exciting. Question completely out of the blue. What's your view on the incredible success that Reapers had in Kickstarter with the millions that they got for all the miniatures?
I think the Reaper one was different to everybody else, and I think it was different because when you look at the number of people that stepped up, the 5,000-6,000 mark for a lot of the others, for the zombie side, for some of these, showed that there was a core of people that were willing to step up, but it was a demanding amount of money. The Reaper thing was a completely I suppose more of a shotgun approach, but when you look at it, was 17,000 people who were adding what is effectively role-playing figures. I mean, you can use them for lots of things, but for me, when I put my name down, I was thinking it's 188 figures. I now have got the 10 skeletons I need, which you never seem to have enough. I've got the rats, I've got and the scale of it only reinforced the fact that I think the role-playing market as a whole is in much healthier state than I think people thought. And it was, having done the D&D, which is probably, it's the other end of the spectrum, where we don't want to make quite so many figures. We want to be at the very top of the quality ladder for that. But it's absolutely that group of people who, some will want the Eye Tyrant and some want 20 skeletons because the volume is the key. And I think Reaper just proved that there are enough gamers out there, if you offer them the right thing, that the number of people who'll put their hands in their pockets, months in advance, was much bigger than anybody expected. So yeah, it's watching Kickstarter the last few months has been very interesting. Very interesting.
A bit of a game changer for an awful lot of people.
I think it's opened the possibilities for smaller companies to do things that they wouldn't have done otherwise, and some of the bigger companies have absolutely used it as a way of gathering orders and getting people to step up in advance. And that's, as a business, knowing that you've got 5,000, 8,000, 3,000 people who definitely will give you the cash now for something that they trust you to make, it's a good business model.
John, thank you very, very much indeed for your time. Best of luck with Spartacus, which I'm sure is going to be an incredible success, and very much look forward to seeing what else you come up with next year.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
You must have heard by now of Cranio Creations. Even if it's not by that name, everyone knows Dungeon Fighter. Lorenzo Silva, hello and welcome to the GMS Magazine Spiel interviews. Guys, since you came out with this is taking the gaming world by storm. This is done fantastic.
Thank you very much. And
how did Dungeon Fighter come along? Because it's a really weird game.
Yeah, because we are really weird people, so so it's normal that weird people create weird games.
Where did it originate? Where did the idea for Dungeon Fighter come from?
The first idea we had many years ago in university. We were playing darts,
right?
Okay, and all the game begins from passion in ironic things and the crazy game and fantasy role-playing things, and so we mixed all the things and Dungeon Fighter came out.
What's been the most fun part of developing Dungeon Fighter?
One of the most fun part was when we decided to transform a dart game in a board game to to create something that would not kill people with darts in the box that children could not use. So and we tried to create all the crazy throws without the legs, with the head, and that was really funny. When we play tested the first times, was absolutely fantastic.
Did you expect that it was going to be such a massive success?
Not really, but we hoped to, and finally we are really happy about the game.
But you have not been sitting idle just on Dungeon Fighter. You have been working very hard, and in fact for Spiel you now have a new 3 games.
Yeah, for this year we create 3 new games. The first one is 1969, a game about the conquest of the moon. Is a game that is a part of worker placement and mixed with a part of dice rolling and luck with dice, and a lot of interaction between players, but everything can be controlled by the worker placement. So it's a very strange, classic and strange game. We also have a Shipland, a game, a family game that is really strong because it's very easy and short game. It lasts only 30 minutes, but it have a very great strategy complexity, yeah. And the last one is Like, the social game, a game about social network, and it's an ironic game about all the internet meme and all the stuff from the web and all the most famous social network that everyone knows, but I cannot pronounce the name.
No, let us not. What lessons did you learn from Dungeon Fighter that allow you and help you develop the new games?
We learned that every game is a very long process. It's impossible to think that you can do a great job in just a few months. You need at least 1 year or more to create something that could really break and conquer the world. That's the bigger lesson.
And of those games that you have developed, the new ones, because it must have been quite an intense workflow, which one has been the most challenging?
1969.
Why is that?
Because we worked on that game with Andrea Crespi, the main author of the game, and he presented us a very different game in the beginning, and we loved the idea of the team and the idea of some mechanics, but we tried to do something more easier because it was too much complex. Right. And so it was a real big job to take the game from another people and transform in something that is both his game and our game, and it took something like 1.5 years to finish it. Okay.
But are you obviously you must be very proud with the results. How is the game being received?
Yeah, it's very well. Everyone seems to be very happy about the game. Everyone is enjoying it, and I hope it will be another big success.
Oh well, let's hope indeed. What's in the pipeline? What's in the future for you guys? Because obviously you're not going to just sit down and wait, are you?
No, absolutely. Okay. Okay. We're checking some prototypes from other game designers. And we are also importing games in Italy, like Tolkien or Alcatraz. But this is only for Italy. And we are working on new games from us, like designer, and one is a crazy game about evolution of species, when in the end you create horrible monster.
That sounds good.
Okay, and we have another very big project that is called Steam Park. That it's a family game about the construction of an amusement park. And the great thing is that the artwork is made by Marie Cardois from Dixit, and I'm working with their on all the illustration, and we're doing a very great job. And the artwork is fantastic, and we are trying to finish. But the problem is the game has a 3D components, and it's the first time for us that we try to do something so big. It's like the Tower of Dungeon Fighter, but a lot of time in the game, because every attraction is a cardboard in 3 dimension, and so we're taking a lot of time to do a very great job.
That sounds very exciting, though. Best of luck with that. Is there a date when you want to get it out, more or less?
Okay, we hope that we can finish the game for March. We have a great event in Italy, but if we will miss this date, we will do the game for next Essen, I think.
So we have to look out for that one.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Best of luck. Congratulations on Dungeon Fighter and the rest of the games that look absolutely lovely, and look forward to a lot more.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, friends, for me this is a very, very special occasion. I have known these two for a while now. We have podcasted. I've met Andre at the UK Games Expo in Birmingham, but I have never met Agnieszka before, and I was really, really looking forward to it. So this is fantastic. So it's a double whammy. Well, it's a triple whammy. Meeting Andre again, meeting Agnieszka for the first time, and seeing the new game beautifully produced. Because we took a look at the prototype that you have at the UK Games Expo. Tell me.
So this is the same game, it just is now coated with the final design. The game plays the very same. This is a setup for four players. We have quite a small table here, that's all we could bring. And you can see the hex map. There are ships already on the map, population cubes, resources, the player mats with all the technologies, all the 28 of them. Actually, it's more, I think. And the ship blueprints, the spaceships, and the action cards, everything on one table. And there are still a few more other stuff which did not fit in here, and they're still in the box. All the ship upgrades, the cannons, the shields are still in the box. Just lack of space. The game is absolutely massive. We've been working on it for more than a year now. And UK Game Expo was the first time we presented it, and we were lucky enough to speed up the production and have this game just in time ready for Essen.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it was just 2 days away when we got the games, and we managed to bring them here just 2 days before we had to come to Essen.
Agnieszka, what have you done for the game? What's been your contribution?
Oh yeah, I am co-designer. I'm just. So my idea, mainly what I'm most proud of, is the technology tree. I hope you will enjoy it. It's the double synergies between the technologies. So it's not only the linear synergy that you are getting a discount on the technologies when you go upwards, but there's always also a synergy between types of the technologies. So this is very, very cool. We also, with Andre, were thinking about how to make the game a little bit more complicated, I would say. Right. And this is how we get to the point when we add the Centaurian resistance ships. And also, I would say that the big influence are the cards where you can actually fight the resistance ships and what you are getting for it. So whenever you fight a resistance ship, depends on the level of the strength they are, you'll get a reward. you can change it for the victory points. But yeah, so I hope this part will be very, very cool. And I can say that the idea.
Yes,
it's
don't be
mine.
modest. Don't be modest. She actually had this idea to put the upgrades for ships inside the ship blueprint. So this is a drive. So this goes exactly here. You cannot put it in a different place. And this makes the ergonomics of the game really good, because it's obvious. This is a triangle. The shields are triangle, so all you can put here is a shield. You try to stick one of the square ones here, it won't fit. So it's very easy to explain to people what is the game about. Put all the ship parts inside the blueprint, and this was her idea. We've been struggling with this for several months, and she said, let's put them inside. And once we start cutting them, it started all, everything fell into place.
Yeah, I remember the first prototype. We had the tiny scissors, and we were trying to cut it in the thick cardboard. And yeah, it was. I know why it was my idea, because I was the only one who managed to cut them like this. So.
Now, I remember the first time we spoke that you were looking for a proper good production for the minis, because you wanted to have really cool design minis, which they deserve it, because they look absolutely gorgeous. How was that process? How did you manage to actually get over the hurdle of finding some place to do the minis properly?
Actually, designing this is fairly complicated. So we looked for a commercial product, something that was already on the market. So of course we looked towards the Far East, and we had several offers, and these ones looked the best, so we just chose them. They're not our design. We're not there yet, but they just look really cool. And we managed to put a lot of them in the game, so there are 48 minutes in the game. And the game is still for a decent price, so I think we managed to get to a good compromise. So this is the only part which is not designed by us.
Fair enough. That's fair enough, and the results are good enough, so hey, that's what should matter. Is the games in the shops now?
No, it's not, and probably for the next few months will not be, because we recently funded the game in Indiegogo. Thank you, all of you. And yes, they have the priority to get the games first. We managed to get them in essence, so people who pre-ordered them, they can pick them up. And yeah, they will not be in the store because we promised so.
Well, they will be in the stores towards the end of the year. We just got the games. We're sorting everything out with Indiegogo, and now with Essen, and afterwards we will give the games to distributors, and then the games will definitely make it to the shops.
Is there going to be some sort of pre-order, because the DVD and the videos are going to be out a lot sooner than that? Can people pre-order so you can have an idea of how many games you need to produce and people can get them?
The games right now are produced. Okay. So we've made the first batch. If there will be more demand from the market, we will produce more games.
So they can be bought from your website?
It will be possible to buy the game from our website, and as we promised on Indiegogo, within the next 2 months the game will not be available in the store. So I believe in December you will be able to find it, but we are keeping our words.
So there you have it. For the time being, you just have to look at the video and dribble over the goodness that is Exodus Proxima Centauri, because that looks amazing. And if it plays anywhere near as good as it looks, I'm gonna have fun with that. So keep an eye on this and get ordering now while you can. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Paco.
The reach of gaming is a lot wider than people would expect at many points, and games come from places that we basically don't really think much about, and this is one of those places. I have with me Martin Williams, the Sagacé. Martin, you come all the way from Peru to be at Essen.
Yes, we are from Peru, and in this opportunity we are with Sagacé. Sagacé is the name of a group of games and board games and also puzzles that relate to maze. And we are presented here, two of them. One is a football mate and the other is El Sagario.
What made you decide to come to Spiel? Because coming all the way from Lima to here is a long journey.
It's a long journey, but our main idea is to here is the greatest fair of the world. So we thought that there is a lot of people that want to play. We have games for play. The idea is to try to make our games with more perfection with those players. German players are very nice and help with a lot to some adjustment for the games.
What was your philosophy regarding games? What sort of games, puzzles you mentioned? What made you decide I want to do these games?
Well, we began this year with this book of puzzles, and the idea was to train the brain. The training of the brain is has to be with masses, because a maze, the neuronas make a maze when you are thinking. We are making maze perhaps here, and it's very easy to play with maze. But when you put one maze into overlap another, we began to try to discover what is going on in the games in the same. You are in the other side, and you have to play thinking in a maze in this game board. And the philosophy behind is that we want that the board games change in the format to be very massive, to a format for people that like to have fun but thinking, not also with dice, not with cards. Trying to gain the other person by thinking is more challenging and more competitive.
And is that the kind of games that you like to play?
Of course. Yes, not all the people like that, but it's useful for some people to try to think that he win with his own effort and not with aleatory.
How long has your company been going?
Well, I am 10 years working about designing systems, models, and the book has about 2 years. And this year comes with a board game, with a game board, and the idea mainly was to try to people to read puzzles, to solve puzzles, and is a round trip. I began to the book, final the book, go to the game board and return, and we are practicing in the brain.
What is the board game scene like in Peru? Are there many people playing board games?
No. We are really in the other way. No. But this is the philosophy. I think that in Latin America, people don't like to think too much. This is a problem because, for example, the neurodegenerative illness beginning our countries before than in another countries, in another cultures. So this is, I think, a good idea to try people to train and try to be more. I don't know if you can say something. This is in our publicity. I think the sagas is life because life is in your brain. If you can train it, your life will be with more color. Yes.
What do you expect from Essen?
Okay. Well, if you look around, there is very few of games, abstracts, games for like this. I think that this is a niche that I want to look in Essen and try in more years coming to growing about this kind of board game that are related to abstract, related are not chess, but it's like chess, but it's different, something like that.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck at Essen. I really hope that you guys are going to be mega successful and show the world what South America has to offer.
Thank you for your visit also.
not gonna tell you where we are. I'm gonna show you because this is worth showing. Yes, we are at the Days of Wonder, and wonders indeed. I'm very, very busy. I have the pleasure of being with Adrien Martinot, who is sales and marketing for Europe, so he knows everything there is to be known. It's worth knowing about Days of Wonder. Adrien, thank you very much for sitting and talking to me today. How is it going? This is very busy.
Yeah, this is very busy, and we're very happy to be in Essen one more time, and we have this big booth, central, all 12, people came in and rushed on our booth in the morning, so you stay in the counter, see people running at you, so that's very cool to be here. Essen is a good place to be, truly.
Oh, it certainly is. The atmosphere is absolutely brilliant. You are very, very busy. What are you showcasing this year? What kind of new games or new stuff do you have out at the moment?
We have a Shadows over Camelot card game, which is a new version of the Shadows over Camelot game, which is not a board game anymore in this version, so you play with card, but we keep the fine element of the treasure that you had in the board game that everybody loves, and you make quests, you win white sword and sometimes black sword, so sometimes you lose when you have more black sword than white sword, but it's a card game, so it's very fast. It's played like 20 to 30 minutes, from 1 player to 7, so wide range, and it's very tense, and I love that because you have always the traitor somewhere suspicious that is going to try to make you fail the game. So very still a good game, and the theme of the round table, which is a worldwide, famous theme.
What are your plans for Shadows of the Camelot? Are you going to be coming on with more expansions in the future? Is it going to be just a one-off, so people should grab it now?
If it works well, it's a game we could do expansion for sure, because it would work well in this kind of games, and we have to see. We love the game very much, and it's been the first time for some time we publish a smaller game. We usually have this kind of big square box where famous for like Ticket Ride, Small World, More 44, and now we are doing this smaller game. But let's see how it does, and we happy to do expansion for it. Sure.
Fingers crossed indeed. Yeah. Now, Ticket to Ride has become, I think, universally accepted as being the perfect gateway game for anybody who is not into board games to actually get into it. You guys keep on coming with new and interesting expansions. How are you ensuring that every expansion that you come out with keeps the game new and exciting and approachable without making it overcomplicated?
Yeah, like you say, it's not that easy because we have to keep this, like easy entry level for a game, and we even the expansion we do, they are targeted to more casual players. So it's important to keep the essence of the game, which is collecting cards, and catching routes on the map, but with 1 or 2 new twists per game. And one was very successful. It was Asia, the Asia map, where you have to play with team. So you can play with 2 or 3 teams. So player need to be careful and to understand what the teammate was trying to do. So that was very innovative. And so each time the trick is to find what special, new rules we can add, and which is not overcomplicated. And we don't want to turn Ticket Ride into a gamer game. It would be, not good, and it won't fit.
Now, you have also been releasing a few iPad games. Yeah. What impact has that had on your tabletop sales?
It has an impact, really, especially in the US, where the game is known over there as Ticket Ride, and the app is also known as Ticket Ride, and it makes discover the games to a new whole range of players. People who have an iPad and play some casual game on the iPad, and so Ticket Ride on the chart, because when it went out, it was high on the charts, and then in the end they end up buying the board games, and so we see an increase of sale in the board games. But what we see in the end is that board game is making the iPad game sales, and then the iPad games make the board game sales. So it's very cross-selling from the physical game and the digital adaptation. So
will you say, from the point of view of the company, that it is a well worth investment to go electronic at the same time as you're going tabletop?
For us, it's a very good investment, and also Ticket Ride was a well-known game before, so that helps, to have a game that it's worldwide now, So if you go digital on a game that has no audience, I'm not sure it will cost.
Definitely. how has the economy affected you guys? Have you seen a dip down in sales, or are you still actually seeing that people are playing games?
People are still playing games. We are not affected at all by the economy. We are still increasing, and I think that the board games, the value that the board games try to transmit and to give, with more social interaction in a world where people, are focused on their Facebook stuff and are being alone facing their computer. Games bring something else. Meeting your friend again and playing some games, some fun, chatting together. So the value that's in the games, are so good in a sense that people still want to play games, whatever. If it's going bad, play a game and you'll be happy. Yeah.
What do we have to look forward to from Days of Wonder? What's in the pipeline to keep us excited?
Oh, we have many things in the pipeline for sure. So we're still working on Ticket Ride. Like we said, it's still a big seller. We're still working on small one also, and we have Memoir 44, which is a bit more core range of games, but still doing very well. And we will certainly bring you some new games in the future. So stay tuned.
Fingers crossed. Thank you very, 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 very much indeed.
You're welcome. And just want to add that we're having our 10th birthday this year. So we made this special T-shirt you see with all the list of the games we published for the 10th year. So yeah, we it's our 10th time in Essen, 10th birthday. We're still here, and let's look for the 10th next year.
Happy birthday! The legends continue to pop by at Essen, and few more legendary than Mr. Larry Brosniak here, because Larry, without you, a lot of people would not be into games today.
Well, I don't know if I can take full credit for that. How do you come by saying that? Other than the fact that we at Mayfair keep on trying to publish great games for everybody to play, and keeping this company together and doing the things that we're doing and going around and stuff and supporting the things that we support, but I can't possibly take all the credit.
No, but a good chunk.
Well, no. I'm the president of Mayfair. Okay, that's great. Which means I get the credit for everything that everybody that works with me, and not for me, but works with me, does. But without everybody that we have, our whole crew, our sales department, even our accounting department, everybody, all the wonderful folks that are here, this is not a one-man operation. I do a few train games every now and again. I get to look at all this other cool stuff that we do, and I get to go to Essen once a year and just, walk around upstream like a salmon, trying to get from booth to booth. But, it's not just me. I enjoy it. It's 13 years this year that I've been president of Mayfair. And of course, I was hanging out at Mayfair already starting in 1990, so it's been a while.
And the company has grown, it has grown immensely. In terms of the amount of the type of games that you guys began with and the type of games that you do now, what are the differences that you have seen people are asking for?
What we see as we mature as a company, that yes, we love our gaming geeks, we love the guys who give us the buzz when the game first comes out, but being the kind of company that we are, with the accent on not just 4 guys sitting in a room, we want mom to play, we want grandmother to play, we want Uncle Joe to play, whatever. So our big thing, what we're looking for now, and we were just actually talking about this yesterday, that we need a game, or we're looking for games that the gamers will like and give us that initial buzz and that initial support until the rest of the public that we deal with catches up to the fact. Okay, we're finding now in America, obviously with the numbers that we're doing with Catan, for instance, which of course is our big thing, that obviously we're no longer selling to the gamers. We are, the few that didn't know about us or the new gamers, but we're really selling to Aunt Matilda and and Uncle Herb and all those guys now, because they see Catan in more, how shall I put it, in more mainstream stores and things like that. Whereas here in Germany, you got a good game or a Spiel des Jahres or something like that, you're instantly in Kaufhof and Karstadt. It took Mayfair many years to penetrate that kind of a market in the United States to get not out of the game shops, but to expand beyond the game shops, because not everybody goes to the game shops, even though we've got quite a few. They go to Target, they go to Barnes & Noble, they look at Amazon. Okay, so our dynamic, where in America, where we come from, and to some extent England too, as an example, is a little bit different than in Germany. Germany, they got the Spiel des Jahres. Everyone wants to go buy it because Germany is more of a game-playing society. America is a game-playing society every now and then. Okay, I mean, everybody knows to go buy Monopoly at the store, for their kids or for this and that, and everyone plays it at least once. We're looking at replayability. We're looking at games that are, again, we can play over and over and over again, so that if you don't have money for the movies tonight, well, let's pull, Empire Builder off the shelf, or let's pull Catan off the shelf, and we'll just stay in and play tonight. So that's what our focus is now. Again, a game that appeals to the gamer, because they're the ones that are going to buy it first, and we need them to build that core support to allow us to reprint it or print it again afterwards, so that the families can start getting at it. That's where we are with that.
You have been coming to Spiel for quite a while now. What are the differences? Have you seen any difference between when you started in Spiel and Spiel 2012?
Well, I can say that I don't remember when Mayfair started coming, because I was actually not part of the company at that point, but I believe it was the early 90s. And it was a matter of figuring out, or having somebody in the company figuring out how to present things at Spiel. Okay, it's not simply set up a booth and throw some games on the wall and say, okay, they're English, you want to buy this or not. We discovered this as we changed our attitude or our presentation in America with the expanded demonstration program that we have over there. 3 years ago, we made the change to the double booth setup where you pick me up over at the office, and now we have this wonderful expanse here where we've got our 12 tables or 13 tables or whatever we have. We've hired some local people to help us demonstrate games in both languages, German and English. Local folks from Essen, nice bunch of people, even though some of us are bilingual, but a nice bunch of folks, and we've changed our presentation, and we've adjusted the way we do things. We bring all of our inventory here, all the games that we publish are here in some level or another, and we pick the new ones and some of the old ones to demonstrate, but that's how Mayfair has matured over the years, and frankly, looking at what the other companies, particularly the German companies, are doing to fill up their booths. The one difference is, as opposed to the big guys in Germany, we actually sell our product at our stand, because it's not really available anywhere else because of the English language thing. And we find Germans are buying our games, the Dutch are buying our games, the English and Scottish folks that come over here, Irish, they're buying our games because they, either the store doesn't have them or it's a new release, because this is all about getting the new game before it gets to the shops here at Essen. There's a whole lot of that going on.
What's been your biggest seller so far?
Actually, our biggest seller at this show has been Airplanes by Martin Wallace. It was released just prior to Gen Con. Actually, it didn't even get into release until after Gen Con in the United States. So it's brand new. It's Martin. It's part of what we call our Martin Wallace Transportation Series. Well, no, we've got automobiles, we've got airplanes. So now the next one that we're going to be getting Martin to do for us is something having to do with boats. And of course, we've got steam, which is about trains. So we got trains, planes, and automobiles, and now we have to add boats. So we're looking for one more game from Martin having to do with boats, and then we'll see where we go from there. But our biggest seller here has been Airplanes. It's been very, very popular, doing rather well.
That's absolutely fantastic. How many games do you have in the pipeline? Because I imagine some of them you won't even be able to talk about, but you obviously are very, very busy. What can we expect from Mayfair in the next few months?
In the next few months, we will be coming out, of course, with the second expansion, or the second set of expansions, to the Rivals card game by Klaus Teuber, the Catan card game. We are also going to be doing an English language game of, I think the German name is Aufbruch der Handler. We're calling it Merchants of Europe. It takes some of the mechanics from our very successful Settlers of America and brings it over to the European continent. So obviously this is less about settling Europe as opposed to building the trade routes of Europe. but some of the mechanics are very similar, and it's basically the European version of America with a few little tweaks. That's the end of this year's cycle. Beginning of next year's cycle, we're doing a Jean Venet's game in February called Zen Garden. Tile laying game. You're building your garden, doing your Zen gardening, whatever the wonderful thing is. We will be publishing a game called 5 Points, and I apologize up front for not remembering the author, but it's basically a Gangs of New York kind of theme going there. We've also are tinkering with some stuff for Star Trek that I really can't talk about right now. And so that's as much as I'm going to say about that. And then there'll be some, we got a few other titles in the box, but unfortunately our schedule, and again, you become a popular game company, whether it's in America or Germany, the wonderful game authors got all their great stuff and they're bringing it to you, and they're showing it to you, and you want to do this stuff. Unfortunately, our schedule's about 2 years out, at least. Yeah, so if you had a game today, and I said, I'm going to publish this game, you would see it in print somewhere in 2015. Sometimes we're not as agile or as nimble as we should be, okay? But we're trying to work on that. That's the next step in maturity, is to be able to react to something quickly while as we say, while the iron is still hot, and get this game into publication and get them to and get it out to the market quick enough to not lose the buzz.
But that is, it's a sign of maturity that you can actually look at yourselves and say, right, this is where we have to improve. Let's see how we can do it.
Well, Mayfair's been around in one form or another since 1982. So this is basically our 30th anniversary year. We didn't make a big deal about it, but it is our 30th anniversary year. Yes, thank you. And it is a sign of maturity. We've gone beyond the basic gamers, although we love them dearly. But we are looking for them and a number of other people to help us keep on going and keep delivering these great games that we find from all these wonderful authors to the general public. And the one thing I can tell you about that just came into my mind, because we just signed contracts this weekend, was we're bringing back Pompeii as a Mayfair game. And not as a co-production with Amigo. We'll be reprinting it our style and printing it in America and coming out with it. It should be outcome about late summer, early fall. Yes.
That is very good news.
Yeah, that is very good news. I love the game very well. Amigo has decided to let it go from their catalog, but they were very gracious and put us in contact with Klaus Jürgen Werder and the artist as well. And just today we got through talking to Klaus about how we're going to present the game, and he seems to be rather excited about it. And so that's one of the things I can absolutely talk about. We should have it out again, late summer, early fall.
And ladies and gentlemen, 2013 all of a sudden becomes a lot more interesting, and even hasn't happened yet. Harry, thank you so much for your time. All the best for the show. It's obviously being really great. I really hope that you guys sell out everything, and look forward to the next time.
Thank you very much. All right, and I'll be at UK Games Expo next year as well. Okay.
All good things come to an end, and unfortunately Spiel is no exception. And don't get me wrong, I really wish we had more than 4 days, because we still haven't been able to interview everybody we wanted. That doesn't mean that we haven't been busy though. We have not stopped. And I really wish you could know right now how my feet feel, because they are very, very tired. Having said that, it's been tremendous fun. And we are expecting to do it all again next year in Spiel 2013. However, in the meantime, you can look forward to more location interviews that we will be doing throughout the remaining of 2012 and 2013. However, this has been an absolute blast. I cannot recommend enough that if you can make it, please do, because it's the hell of an experience, and we cannot wait for next year. But until then, have a great time gaming.